So I absolutely love twisted cord. Twisted cord can be a closure, it can be a purse handle. You can use it in all sorts of new and very interesting ways. So suppose you're working on a project and you want to find just the right closure, accent piece. You go to the craft store, you search around for that perfect button. It takes a lot of time to get the right finishing notion for your projects. You can save a lot of problems by just making twisted cord at home out of the same yarn that you made your project. So what do you need to make twisted cord? A hand blender, yarn, and a great spot for hooking your yarn onto. A carabiner comes in really, really handy for this. You can use a door handle, a sliding door handle, a chair. Anywhere where you can get your carabiner to hook into makes a great spot. So to make twisted cord, first figure out the desired length of your cord. So in order for me to create a twisted cord of perhaps 1 foot, I would want to start out with lengths of yarn that were 3 times longer. So here's 1, 3 times longer. Now that I have a length of yarn 3 times longer than my desired length, I'm going to need to figure out how thick I'd like my twisted cord to be. Using this yarn, this twisted cord used 4 different lengths of yarn, 4 different strands of yarn. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to duplicate that twisted cord thickness, and I'm going to run off 4 strands. You see, I'm not cutting or measuring. I'm a big believer in figuring out what my desired length is and then just duplicating what that length is and running it out of my skein, running the yarn out of my skein. Cut the yarn. And always, especially if you're using an even amount of yarn strands, one side of that twisted cord group of yarns is going to be looped. I typically take that looped bit and I run it into my carabiner. Grab the other end of your yarn and just tie it around your hand mixer. And it doesn't matter what kind of knot you use, because you're either going to be untying this knot or you are going to be cutting your yarn off. Let's see here now. Step back, and this is the fun part. Turn on the blender. Turn it on low and get started. Now what I do, I go by feel. And I like a pretty dense twisted cord. It's pretty hard to over tighten. It is actually possible. One way you know when to stop, when you see it starting to kink like this, it's pretty much time to stop. But one of the real foolproof ways when you know it's time to stop is when it starts to kink on itself. And you can see this one is kinking pretty hard. This is probably tighter than you want your twisted cord to be. So I'm gonna let it, I just let it unwind a little bit. But now let's see if I made it unwind too much. I'll pull forward. It's still nicely kinking upon itself. We can use this twisted cord just as it is. I'm done. I'm going to take my hand blender, put it down. I'm done with it. And now we're going to fold this twisted cord in half, but it's really, really important that you keep the tension on the twisted cords. You want to completely manage how it's going to be twisting upon itself. So as you can see here, I'm using 1 finger. If you have a really, really long twisted cord, you might need to have a friend give you a hand. I fold it, keep holding it on the other side, and I take just the end of the twisted cord. I start my twisted cord, I let it begin to fold in the direction that it wants to go. and I manage the twist. I don't let it do whatever it wants to do. And when I'm sure that it's behaving and it's going to be twisting in the way that I want it to twist, and it's not going to be kinking upon itself, I let go and magic happens. Voila, you've got this fantastic, awesome twisted cord. To finish that twisted cord off, I'm just going to cut it off the hand mixer on this side. Tie a nice little knot. Tie it in however long, then I'm going to trim the the tassel to my desired length. And there you have it, beautiful twisted cord. If you like this tip, I've got more. Come check out my Tunisian crochet class at Craftsy.com.